Welcome everyone on today's Metal3 Community meeting. Today is the 25th of June. My name is Etem Rosman and I will be your host today. Please remember that the meeting is recorded. If you would like to have the project, then please look for the help wanted or the good first issue labels or follow the link in the meeting notes. And that way you can find issues that are open for anyone for contributions, and that would greatly help the project. If you are experiencing flakes or issues related to your particular pull request, then please create an issue in the relevant repository, and then in that issue, link the project to the link the issue to the CI flake tracker project, the Metal3 CI tracker. That's how it's called. And that way we can much easier follow up on the issues. Right now, if you are experiencing issues with CentOS images or CentOS based tests, that's a known issue. Many of the post stages are failing on almost all of the CentOS jobs, and it is something that we are not sure about. We contacted the maintainers of the Jenkins because it seemed to be not related to any of the code or the images that we are using. We tested with older images and tested with known working images, and also the failure happens before any of our code would run. So we suspect that it is some incompatibility or some issue with the Jenkins agent, but it's still under investigation. If the other topic is that if your organization would be okay with sharing or with acknowledging the adoption of Metal3, then please do so by creating a pull request in the and modifying the adopters.md file in the community repository the same way as others have done. That would help us also a lot. Related to the incubation proposal, I have not heard anything. No discussion, no messages, nothing. But I have not checked the actual pull request for some time now. Okay, if anyone is interested about any other statistics, please follow the other links here in the reminders list. I don't think we have anything from last week that we were bringing over to this week. I assume that the ironic image versioning is still an open topic, but I don't think this week we have anyone with more input on that. So we can continue with the community working groups. So first one is the scalability. As I said, the CI is experiencing issues that makes it at the moment the focus. So right now we are focusing on solving this this other problem, and then after that we will, I think, return to improving on the scalability test or fixing the scalability test and then improving on that. And I assume we don't have anyone from the ARM working group. Yeah. And last week we didn't have any updates about ARM working group, so I think we can continue and go directly to the release team and the roadmap. IRSO and ironic image was released, but I think the ironic image was listed last week. Yeah, and at that time the IRSO was ongoing. So maybe I cannot hear that.
Yeah, I haven't added it as it was announced in the channel, but
yeah,
feel free to add it there.
Yeah, I just put it here just to make sure I remember we covered it. And thanks for both the ironic image and the IRSO releases. I don't think we have any other release activity ongoing. There are Cappy bumps, but that's not release, that's just version bumps on the main. Yeah, I think we can continue with the discussion topics. And I have two actually. One is this proposal I just wrote yesterday. This is related to the pre-provisioning kernel arguments for pre-provisioning image kernel command line arguments that are not specific, would be. It's basically just a new field that would open up the possibility to pass these BMH or not specific variables. If you are interested, please read it. I agree. I actually, after I fixed Leonard's comments, I also noticed in the PMO code that we are using this sort of wording or case that we don't use uppercase for the provisioning, for the pre-provisioning network data. So I will change that. And yeah, I agree. Yeah, I will add this. Thanks for the feedback, Dimitri. But yeah, if anyone is interested, please feel free to review this one.
Yeah, I'm leaving a few comments as we go. This so far mostly cosmetic, just consistency with stuff, and I have nothing against the idea. I actually have use cases for it as well.
Yep, that's fine. Yeah. Any questions or comments? I know, Dimitri, you are commenting on the PR. That's fine. But anyone else? Any questions? If nothing, then the other topic is that do we have, because I was unable to find it, we might have it somewhere, but do we have a ironic image specific policy for providing backports, and also policy about what kind of backports are we willing to do? I don't think we even have like a very rigorous policy on backports, other than stating to backport bug fixes. I think that's the wording we use for the other components. So we don't really backport features, but let's say I want to backport the bug fix. How do we count the supported ironic image versions? If there is a supported BMO release, would the related ironic image version count as a supported one, or is it just the last two, same way as we have in like the CAPM3? Did we have a discussion about this? I can't remember.
Yeah, so we had a discussion about that. I think it's the general like it's, if we start from ironic itself, it can get a bit complicated because upstream the support, for example, for the bug fix, like I'm talking about the bug fixes, of course, and bug fix and upstream in ironic, we usually backport only bug fixes. The problem there is that the lifespan of a bug fix branch is usually shorter than a stable branch, and so we need to deal with that. So it really depends. I mean, probably it would make sense to backport bug fixes only like for 2 or maybe 3 stable ironic image releases. But then, of course, we also need to understand if and where they are supported. I mean, if there is a stable image that maybe it's not taken into consideration for any Cap3 release, for example, well, it doesn't make sense to backport the bug fix as well. There's nothing written, but we can, well, like we probably need to start writing something down about that. In general, I would go for just backporting bug fixes, of course, and then just deciding how many stable releases of the ironic image we want to cover.
Yeah, I was just specifically thinking about just the ironic image. I wasn't even looking into ironic source. Just if we would need to change something on the image, regardless of whatever happens with the ironic source. That was
Okay.
my perspective.
Then in that case, it's definitely easier. I think like we can just go backward up to like probably 2 or 3 stable releases, and see. Of course, again, if they are not supported in any Cap3 release, then it doesn't make sense. Or from any BMO stable release, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. I mean, makes sense. I was wondering. Actually, this came up because I was wondering that we now have this support for the read-only file system now for since 29 v29, so it's there. But I was thinking if people are still using older versions of ironic image, it might be something that can be considered as a bug fix. But then I was thinking that that's it's kind of a feature also, because it enables you to run it a specific way. It's kind of it's hard to say.
That's really stretching the definition here.
Yeah.
So I mean, for something like that, we probably need a separate discussion.
Yeah. If I may, it may be useful to frame this not in terms of what feature or what bug is, but in terms of cost versus benefits, where benefits are improvement of operator experience, that in case of such things shouldn't probably be opt-in, right? It should probably just apply to operators. That's a property of bug fixes in many cases. Where costs are risks of regression, and I'm afraid for read-only file system, the cost of regressions, the possibility of regressions is rather high. I mean, we literally bulk keep alive D. So I'd be a bit unsure about this particular case, not because it's a feature per se, but because of this cost versus benefit issue. And I think it should be applied to other backports as well. Like bug fixes can be very invasive.
It's a weird situation, because if we go from that perspective, then when we do or when that modification is applied, then it moves around all the internal file, how to say, it is very disruptive to the internal file structure, and also requires more mounts, and you would need to use a different keep alive D, a newer one actually, a completely new build of keep alive D with your old ironic image. So I understand that. Yeah, but anyways, it would be also good to have like an ironic image like policy, that what we backport and how we backport. I might write it up. It's nothing urgent for me. Like I don't have any serious requirement for this. I was just wondering because I was discussing this feature with someone, and they mentioned that they use very old v26 ironic image in some cases, I was wondering that can I have them this way, but probably it's really a stretch. But anyways, yeah, it's good that you have confirmed that we have nothing written in terms of backport policy. I don't even think in the in the core document about contribution or releasing or whichever document it is in. It's I think just a sentence in general. We backport bug fixes and that's it. Like no really detailed explanation. And I had a discussion with someone else on the community side on one of the PRs. I think this was this cloud init improvement that or network data improvement that was also something that was on the kind of borderline feature or bug, and then we discussed that in terms of bug or feature, but I understood the confusion from the contributor there also because it wasn't entirely like clearly stated that what we accept and what we don't accept. Yeah. I just wanted to bring this up, but I think you confirmed what I was thinking anyway. So no immediate action needed. Is there any question, comments, or anything else we should discuss?
Just a small comment. If we, and hopefully we do write down something eventually, we should also incorporate some logic around ironic standalone operator deprecating its versions. Because so far we started with ironic 27 and kind of just keep 27 for virtually ever. But I guess at some point we should stop. And maybe not immediately when the branch is abandoned in ironic image, which is something we haven't decided on yet. But at some point, maybe somehow ironic standalone operator should start disabling all the versions. And it should be also written down.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you mean that on like an ongoing way, so that when you release a new IRSO, then you start to drop the support for the older ironic, right? So it's not like we would patching the IRSO to remove support for older ironics.
I couldn't quite figure out the difference between two options.
So what I mean is that like one option is that let's say you release the V05 IRSO and then you drop support in that one for version 27 of ironic image. Like as we progress, like you say that from this IRSO version we don't support it, but that's what I would expect. But I was just saying that what I would not like to see, or I don't think it's a good way if we would provide patches for the still supported IRSOs, like the still supported IRSO versions, which remove the support for ironic images that are not supported anymore.
Right. So essentially saying that for 0.4, for example, we never remove anything we agreed on, right?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, I'm totally on board with that.
Yeah, then yeah, that makes sense.
Consider that for at least for the ironic image, as I was saying before, the bug fix branches upstream in ironic, they have like quite of a short lifespan. And so even if in ironic image we still have old branches, like a branch that is more than 1 year old, it's going to be hard to get support, at least in ironic upstream, because the bug fix branch, it doesn't probably exist anymore.
By the way, is 27 actually supported still?
I think so. Let me double check. Yes, 27 is still up, but like 26 is going away soon.
Right. So whenever we remove the branch, and I guess it's you who is doing it, right?
Yep.
Whenever we remove branch from Ironic, I think we should at least have a conversation here, maybe on this venue, where we say, okay, 26 is gone. What are our decisions about that? To remove it from our products? Remove. And it's interesting, right? We cannot remove it wrong way because otherwise old versions of ERSO are going to be broken and a lot of things are going to be broken. But like, what do we do?
Freeze the branch. Like all the releases before 26, like this, the stable, I'm talking about Ironic image, sorry. So 25 and lower, they're basically unmanageable because the relative Ironic upstream branches are not there anymore. And
Right.
I think actually we specified that somewhere in terms of how the bugfix branches or in general stable branches from Ironic are connected to the Ironic image releases. I think we agreed to support like the latest 2-3 branches, something like that, to also connect to the precedent discussion. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting, actually interesting point that maybe we should actually freeze or archive branches. I don't know if how that works on GitHub, like if it's possible. We can of course put like branch protection rule that denies every sort of action. Like that way we can freeze. Yeah, we cannot, I think, archive them same way as repos. But I don't think we have done that for anything. But that might be that would be a good practice that we would start not just removing CI and support and dependable and these things from the branches, but actually quote unquote freeze them everywhere, just to make sure people are not contributing there or yeah, basically for that reason.
I personally care a bit less about people contributing or GitHub. I care more about operators realizing that what they're using is not receiving any updates whatsoever. So, I don't know, freezing branches, I don't care. It may be okay, but that's for us essentially.
Yeah.
Giving operators a heads up, so have a documentation where we actually list active versions. I think we have that. We just need to maintain it. But maybe an email to the mailing list saying, folks, Ironic has removed bugfix branch 26.0. With it, Ironic image 26.0 is no longer maintained. Please migrate ASAP. And in the future, when the same happens with 27, we also add, and we are removing the support for Ironic 27 from the future version of Ironic standalone operator, whichever that is. So kind of make sure they're aware of that.
yeah, that's something actually that I can take care of since I'm usually the one removing also the bugfix branches upstream.
Yeah, this is actually, I think, would be also a good general practice for the whole project line, not just Ironic image, because I don't think we send deprecation notice in a sense that we don't send the mail that I don't know, like CAPI 1.7 or 1.6 is not supported anymore. Please migrate. Like we just how to say, like uh, take it as granted that people read the supported components list and they will change and they see there is a new version and they see that, yeah, we basically think that folks, the users, will take care of it on their own. We don't really have any notification about that. So that might be a good point here, that we should send not just release notices but also like it's not even deprecation, it's end of life, or how you call this, and end of life.
End of support, end of life is pretty common terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Copy support, be more release branches. I think we should notify in the future also branches too.
So in the Metal3 user guide, we actually have the version support section where so there's a reference to. I actually forgot to update that for the last version, but yeah, we have a reference for releases, for example, for ironic image, the status, and the ironic branch. And
Yeah.
for go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say now I remember I even reviewed that document. I think Pepe was updating some support versions there. Yeah.
So whenever we update that section, maybe like doing an announcement in channel or in the mailing list would probably help.
Yep, makes sense. Okay. Yeah, that all makes sense. Yeah, I will also write down that. Explicit. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I don't want to take up more of your time with this, but yeah, I think it all makes sense, and you have collected a few good points, and I will try to make some issues for this, and folks can pick it up. I will check the chat. There might be some message there. Oh yeah, you link the guide. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the all the good discussion. Is there anything else you folks would like to discuss, not related to my topics? Okay, if not, then I have done some triaging already today, and I think we have only one or two left that we have to check. And I also checked the stale ones. So let's see here. So these two, actually on the top, these are the two that we should discuss. I think we had last week on the Slack this discussion that how should we test the utility images, or maybe on the previous community meeting. And Dimitri, you mentioned that basically with the EARSO we could test the utility images, because EARSO is uh, supposed to be like supposed to have the support for the pixie builder. So if it has no support, then I will add it to the EARSO and then create a test, and then that EARSO test can be used to test the PRs to the utility images, and then same for the keep alive D, but of course that's already like part of like the EARSO workflow. It's just that we can reuse the EARSO test to test the keep alive D. So I just commented those here, and I think that's a good approach to combine the EARSO and the utility images in
Yep.
general.
By Pixie Builder, we need some design, API design. Feel free to ping me if you have a draft. Keep alive the, yes, indeed, it's already there. Just that's probably an easy win.
Yeah. I think the action point here will be that I will accept this, and then I will also make a note and make an issue for IRSO for the Pixie Builder, because I foresee the continued use of Pixie Builder. There have been some improvements, and that is one of us who is working on like looking into IPv6 Pixie boot support, because we also had a community report or a common issue from the community that we have some mistakes in the DNS mask config. So I think there is anyways ongoing work with the Pixie Builder, and I foresee also need from our side for the Pixie Builder in the foreseeable future. So yeah, certainly we have to add that to the IRSO. And then I think I will actually close this one, because this was my issue that I created before or just parallel to the issue that Tomo has created. Because my idea was that before thinking about the IRSO, that there is kind of an easy way to test keep alive D without even any of the MetaCube stuff. But if we will anyways use the IRSO, then that would be a duplicate. So I will just close mine, and I will do this in favor of this one. Yeah, this is closed. Nice. And I think that's all. One other interesting issue that started to pop up. I seen this in three different discussions, one downstream, two upstream, coming from different people from different angles, but basically people were reporting basically on the same week issues with the RAID. But this is, I don't necessarily think this is the kind of sort of issue that we are really should be dealing with, because what I understood here, and we already reviewed this once, that they had a hardware RAID, they expected, they have noticed that, yeah, it's visible as a block device, should work, we see it from Linux, but whenever they write something to it, then after that, neither the IPA nor they can see the partitions. Something gets corrupted, they cannot boot. I seen the exact same issue from two people, one from here and one downstream, and there was someone else coming with a RAID problem also on the Slack. In addition to this one, this is also on the Slack. I never used BMO with RAID enabled nodes. So I don't know if our, like, we have these RAID config options, and I don't know if those can help or not. So I just asked everyone if they have checked this, but no one answered me. So I will ask it here. Are these RAID configs for the BMHs, these options, relevant for this sort of issues when they have hardware RAID and they already see the block device, or are these RAID things for RAID options are for something else? I can bring this up here also. I mean these RAID options. I never used it. Uh, is there anyone who knows how to use them, or what's their purpose? So is the purpose just to handle the writing some different way, or is it there to even recognize the RAID, or how should this be? Like, what's the expected behavior for this? As I said, I never used this one.
That's to create a delete RAID. It does nothing to make your kernel recognize RAID partitions correctly or stuff like this, because I kind of suspect the bug could be in the kernel, really. It's just a gut feeling, I don't know, but it seems odd that we are writing images that can read absolutely nothing back. It's either in the hardware and kernel, maybe. If you have people who experience that and can access their machines, it'd be really cool to actually maybe disable cleaning, shut everything down, and actually boot into a machine or SSH into IPA and see what is actually going on with the disk. Like, what is there? Can you read anything from the disk? Can you write something to the disk and read it back? But no, this is like dead end. It's just, it can configure RAID for you or delete RAID for you, but it cannot fix these problems.
Okay, makes sense. So it's used for the read creation or deletion by the IPA. Yeah. Okay, that's clear then. And then these folks have absolutely different problems. I think then these two that I mentioned, the one downstream and this one, is clear to me. So this is not relevant. But there was one on the Slack who was mentioning, and there is no corresponding issue here, but that person was mentioning not finding the RAID or something, and wanted to modify the root device hints. That is something that I think might be then relevant. So it might be that for that person the RAID was not even there, so that's why he was not noticing, or like the IPA was not detecting the blocked device because there was no RAID. But I didn't really understand that discussion. Have any of you looked into that one? It was not so long ago. It's on the 18th. Yeah. Oh, there is even an issue. Okay, I will bring this up here. But at least this issue was linked here. So this was something there related. So this incomplete Redfish API metadata for RAID virtual disks prevents root device hints mapping in Metal3 Community. This I didn't fully understand, because like I don't understand what we as a community is supposed to do about this one, because this was also linked in our Slack channel. Yeah, I don't know. This is yeah, I think this is also not relevant, because this looks for, like, this just says that even if you write the correct serial number and VPN and all these things properly, you cannot like IPA still can find it, because this info is propagated incorrectly through the BMC, if I understand correctly, so that it's not properly visible here at that endpoint of Redfish. So I assume we can't do anything about this. Okay, I just answered myself. Okay, yeah, that was all the shenanigans with the triaging. I don't think there's anything else. Is there any comment question related to this? Either the rate stuff or to the triaging or any other topic? I will check the chat. There was one chat message. Okay. Okay. If nothing else, then thanks for your time and thanks for your patience and thanks for being patient while I was mumbling about this rate stuff. But it was weird that on the same week we had like 3 different trade related topics popping up. Yep. Okay. Thank you all, and until we meet next week, have a nice week. Bye bye.
Thank
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.